Hello guys, this is Cesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. Today we are back in the Desert Adventure Park and we'll build a lovely habitat for the Pygmy Hippos. Currently we are working on an African village for our park, so the Pygmy Hippo is a perfect addition to our African animals. We actually have already built a habitat for the Pygmy Hippos here on the channel. I did it as a part of the Cagothon, which was a charity event. I recreated a Pygmy Hippo habitat from the Congo Wildlife Ranch. You can see it in on my channel if you want to. I will put the link, of course, in the description and on the screen. But this habitat today will be totally different. Its main focus will be the underwater viewing area, so if you want to see it and if you want to see how to build a cool underwater viewing for animals like hippos, like Pygmy Hippos, definitely watch this video because I hope that I will show a cool way of how to do those underwater viewings. And in general the water areas or like pools for the animals, so if you want to see it, definitely stay tuned. So as you see from the beginning of this video, I am sort of working on making the levels right, building like the foundation of our viewing area for the Pygmy Hippos. My concept for this habitat was that there'll be like the water level will be on that level that the guests will be able to see both under the water and above the water. Under the water they'll obviously see the animals diving, and above the water they will be able to see the whole habitat that I will create for the Pygmy Hippos. This is nothing original, there are a lot of those habitats in zoos. It was like my inspiration to do something like this. Obviously, as you guys know, this zoo is also inspired by my visit to the Dubai Safari Park, and in this zoo they had something similar. It was a bit different, but still I used what I could remember, what I had in my mind from the visit to the zoo, and also I went and looked for some inspiration online for this habitat, and that's how I came up with this whole concept. So yeah, the viewing area is slightly like below the level of our like regular main path, so the guests need to go like a few meters down to like enter this building. It is done for the purpose of hitting or nailing the right levels, so the water will be on the exact level so that the viewing could be divided into the underwater and above the water. I promise it will all make sense once I will move further with the building, with the construction, and you will be able to see what I am talking about. At the very beginning of this video, you could actually see me using the guests as sort of, measuring tool of how high the water should be. So this is a great opportunity or great way of, measuring things, like not to build something completely out of the scale, or not to build, for example, a fence for the guests too high or too low. You can simply move some of them to check if everything is on the right levels. You could also use a blueprint. Many like players use this archer blueprint that is on the workshop. It is the the exact size of the guest in this game, so it is also very useful. So the Pygmy Hippo habitat in the Dubai Safari Park is surrounded by the wall of fake rocks, and this is also what I wanted to do in here. I thought it looked very cool, like the valley with the lake for them, like in the a canyon or something, and I really like this idea. I didn't want to use again the rock wall that we created on the channel, like for the Nyalas and the bongos. I wanted to build something original for them, not to make all those habitats very similar to each other. In those last two habitats I used the rock logs and roots and so on to create those rock walls. And right now I am using the fake rocks that we actually have in game and mix them with the temperate rocks from the temperate biome. Obviously, I am using this very useful blueprint I told you guys about with the fake rocks painted basically in the exact same colors that the natural rocks that we have in the game. It is very useful if you want to mix those two kinds of the rocks and make it look cohesive and nice. So yeah, I went for the temperate rock because I simply love it. I think that it is my favorite kind of a rock because of its like texture. It has like this a bit of green on there, like a moss or something, and I think it looks very, very natural because you simply have those things growing on rocks, and for me it looks like very from actual rainforest or a temperate forest simply, and yeah, it looks. So I decided to go for it, as you know, this habitat will definitely have more of this tropical vibe to it. So I wanted to use it. I obviously didn't show you the whole process of constructing this rock wall because it was a lot of time and it was doing the same thing basically, so I didn't want to repeat it all the time. It was just adjusting, rocks in right angles and so on. So I only showed you the beginning and then I did the rest of the camera. After I was finished with the rock wall, you could see me adding some ivies and other creeping plants to this wall. I love to add them because I think that they make it all look very, very natural, make it look more like tropical. You have those plants growing on those rock walls, so yeah, I really like adding them. And then I started to actually add trees to this habitat, so there will be some trees in there to make sure that our pygmy hippos will have some shadow and coverage in their habitats. I didn't want to make them too many trees, add too many trees, because I still wanted them to have a bit of space to roam around their habitat, so I added some and I think that it looks really, really cool. Right now I am working on lining this pool with the mud wall pieces. This is something that was inspired by original builds in the Dubai Safari Park. The whole swimming area for the pygmy hippos is also lined with very similar material. The mud pieces, they actually have this really cool textures, like they are not completely flat, and I love it because it looks so much natural that than adding only plaster pieces that are completely flat. I think that it looks really, really cool in here. So as you can see, the animals can enter the water in both sides of this water area. They cannot do it. They cannot enter in the part like what is opposite to our viewing area. It was also inspired by the zoo. I really like how they made those oval shapes that are coming down into the water for the animals to enter. I really like it, and I think that it looks so good in the end when the animals are actually diving, when the guests are able to see them there. I think that this water area is looking so cool. As you could see, also to keep it realistic, I added a drain so that this water area can all be emptied for cleaning purposes. So all the water can be drained from here and it could be replaced with a fresh water, or just to clean all the surfaces. I'm sure that those pools need some maintaining from time to time, so to make it easier, I designed this drain. So after I was done with our water area, I added some enrichment items to this habitat. I also added the mud bath enrichment. I really like it because I think that it is so realistic to have those things, like animals like elephants, I don't know, rhinoceros or hippos and so on. They love their bath mats. They actually protect their skin against the hot sun by bathing in the mud. So yeah, I love it, this enrichment item, and I always like to incorporate it nicely into the habitat, so I did it all here also. I always hide those hideous corners of it with a terrain and add some stones around it, and still it works. So yeah, I really like how it has turned out in here as well. I also created my custom tree protections as well for this habitat. I add a lot of those in the Elm Hill City Zoo because I think that they add this, touch of realism to our habitats. And I also wanted to add it in here because, the pygmy hippos could easily destroy those trees. I mean, they are scratching against them, they could bite the bark, so I think it would be actually wise to add those tree protections in the pygmy hippo habitat. That's why I did it. After I'll be finished with that, I will add a lot of plants, branches, dead trees, some stones to the habitat to make it all look natural and nice. I know that small plants would probably have a hard life with pygmy hippos because they will be eaten or stomped on, or the hippos would simply roll over them, or I don't know, kill them in any other way. But I still want to add some plants to make it all look nicer, so I added those in the crevices, like between rocks and so on, so they wouldn't be so in the middle, so accessible for the hippos, so maybe they would have a chance of survival. Let me use some time to thank all the new subscribers here to the channel. Recently we had a lot of new people joining, so hello, I'm so grateful that you are here. We have now over 1,500 subscribers here on the channel, which is crazy to me, so thank you guys. I am beyond grateful, and yeah, it really means a lot to me, so thank you, and I hope that you will enjoy my future videos. And if you are not a subscriber yet, please consider to click the subscribe button. It would really mean a world to me and simply help our little channel to grow. But back to the video, as you can see, we already started to work on the interior of the shelter for our pygmy hippos. So I used the shell of the shelter that we already used for the nyalas and the bongos. I just changed a bit the size of it. I did it off camera, not, because it was nothing too spectacular. I wanted to make it more suitable to the needs of the pygmy hippos. We'll have only 2 of them in this habitat. The pygmy hippos are actually a bit of solitary animals. They don't like to live in large groups. So I divided this shelter into 2 stalls, one for each of the hippos, so that, they each basically have one of the parts of this shelter for themselves. To divide this shelter to create those stalls, I actually used the doors, the African doors that we were given with the Africa pack. I really like this piece. I think it has some excellent texture to it, and also the one side that has less of the metal pieces on it, I think it looks really nice as a wall or as a, the stall or something like this. So yeah, I wanted to use it here. As you could see, I also created my own sliding doors to those stalls, so that the pygmy hippos could be moved if there is a need for them to move, for example to a different zoo, or simply if there's a need to move them out of this habitat, it could be done this way. So yeah, I added also some water pipes, some feeders, some enrichment, and a lot of hay beddings to this shelter, so that it is very cozy, but also a nice place for them to rest. And yeah, this is basically our shelter. If you watch my videos, you of course know that for every habitat I like to build a holding pen or a quarantine area where the animals can be separated when they can be, kept while the enclosure is maintained, is cleaned. For example, if there is just a need to separate the animals or something else happens and they need to be closed in there, it is very useful for the keepers to have an area like this. So for this habitat as well, I of course wanted to create it. So I use the logs as a fence, so you know the hippos will have this quiet space, nothing will bother them from around the habitat. I also added a small water area for them, so when they are close in there they can also go to the water where they feel safe. I actually saw it on the Google Maps when I was watching how the zoo is looking from above, because I wanted to catch those small details like, you know, the areas for stuff and so on. And I saw that they actually have this like area behind the habitat that you couldn't really see when you were in this zoo, but they do have it, and they have like another water area for them in this holding pen, so I wanted to give them that as well. I will also create a very cool gate, like dividing those two areas, the main habitat area and the holding pen and the shelter. It will be a sliding gate made of the small wooden pieces. I think it looks really cool. And yeah, if there's a need, the keepers could just, you know, slide this gate and close the access to the main part of the habitat, so the hippos will stay in this smaller pen. After finishing that, after being done with the holding pen, I will start to work on our viewing area, our viewing like building. This is a building solely used to go there to see our pygmy hippos. And let me just say that I am so mad at myself because I forgot to hit the record button when I started to build it. So we don't have the footage of like the first part of building this building. I didn't want to like rebuild it and do it over again because I figured out that this wasn't anything too difficult or too complicated. I changed the material from the mud walls to the plaster pieces because I wanted to keep this building in the style that we had before. You know, this very colorful African style with a lot of small paintings, decorations. So yeah, I added those triangles, I added different colors of the plaster pieces. You'll all be able to see it in the cinematics by the end of this video, and I am sure that you'll be able to figure out how I actually did it. And I also used the sliding doors that we already created for our entrance. Yeah, if you want to see how I did it, definitely watch the first episode or the second one, I don't remember, when we were building this whole large building of our entrance. There we created it. I just copied it over to here because I wanted the sliding doors and we actually had one in this zoo, so why not use it? So yeah, while I'm working on this viewing building, let's call it that way, let me just give you guys some fun facts about the pygmy hippos. Pygmy hippos are less than 1 meter in height and weigh around 180 to 270 kilograms, which is less than a quarter of a common hippo. They are found in West Africa, mainly in Liberia. Their range doesn't overlap with the common hippos, so it's unknown if the two would or could mate in the wild. Pygmy hippos eat semi-aquatic plants, forest herbs, fallen fruit and young leaves. These animals are more mobile than their larger cousins and create tunnel-like paths through their swampy feeding grounds. Although hippos were thought to be in close relation with pigs, recent DNA research has proven the link between whales and the hippos. They actually share a common ancestor, the semi-aquatic animal known as a walking whale. Just like whales, pygmy hippos have specially designed lungs to feel quicker than those of other mammals. In just 2 seconds they can rise from the water and get complete lung full of air, then they can disappear and spend 3 to 4 minutes submerged on a single breath. In another whale-like adaptation, pygmy hippos can suckle from their mothers when under the water. There are actually very few mammals capable of this underwater lactation. Common hippos gather in large pods. On a Botswana safari, you can sometimes see more than 50 hippos wallowing together in the same river. In comparison, the pygmy hippos are solitary animals. They are not very social and spend most of their time alone. There are only around 2,500 pygmy hippos in the wild. They are hunted for their ivory teeth, but also for their meat. But their key threats are lodging, wood harvesting, mining, and agriculture. All of those things obviously destroy their natural habitats, and this is super sad. Luckily, the pygmy hippo breed well in zoos and in national reserves, so I know that a lot of those small pygmy hippos are actually released to the wild, so I am hopeful that we'll be able to do something about it. So while giving you guys fun facts about the pygmy hippos, I actually almost finished our viewing building for their habitat. I added here a lot of cool details like rocks and some plants on the walls to make it look like a bit tropical and so on. I came up with this idea. I think that it looks cool. I also added some wooden details, the info signs for our pygmy hippos, some planters, so it all looks nice, like a cool building to view our lovely creatures from, and I hope you guys enjoy our little viewing area for them. So I am normally posting my Desert Adventure Park videos on Wednesdays, so this video will be also out on Wednesday, and on Monday we actually get a new DLC, so it's only couple of days away and I am so excited. So as I told you guys before, you can expect many new videos next week with new animals. I think that we'll focus mainly on the Elm Hill City Zoo. In this zoo, I actually have like an order of animals in my mind, and I don't want to change it because I want to be like cohesive, building those habitats one by one next to each other and not jump to like any other area of this zoo, because as you know, we are working on our African area and I want to finish it because before I move to some other area. So I think that we'll make a little break with our Desert Adventure Park and we'll be back after I will build some habitats for our animals in the Desert Adventure Park and in our franchise mode. Yeah, actually I started a new series. I forgot to tell you at the end of this video, in case you haven't seen it. We have a franchise series now on the channel. Yes, I'm playing the franchise. It is a very, very cool experience for me because I haven't played franchise modes for so long. It is like a new game for me actually. I have to pay attention to so many details, and yeah, you're all able to see it on our channel. I will post those videos at least once a week. And yeah, we are building them there in the taiga biome, so all the new animals from the North America pack are just perfect for it, and I will for sure add them to this zoo. So yeah, I am really happy about it, about our timing and how the things are going for our channel and for our zoos. But yeah, I will probably do like a 1 week or 2 week break from the Desert Adventure Park just to let you know, guys, but it will be back for sure. The next animal that we'll add is actually really cool, so definitely stay tuned for that. After I will be finished with our viewing area, I actually will add one more building. This will be keeper's hut. We don't have any keeper's hut in this area and I wanted to add one. We have one like near the flamingos and also in our entrance, but I thought that one will be suiting in here. Also, what I remember from you know, the visit to this zoo, that you had some like of those staff buildings in this area, and they were like incorporated to this whole African village really nicely. So I wanted to recreate it a bit, and you know, I actually don't enjoy the concept of, you know, the staff buildings like making a bad, you know, influence on guests. You know, when you play franchise and so on and you put those buildings too close to the paths, the guests are not happy about it. But actually, when they are looking nice, when they are like a part of scenery, part of this whole African vibe, or part of any other like themed area, I think that it can look very cool, and this is something that I wanted to like achieve in here. So the guests are passing by a staff building, but it is still looking nice, it is still, you know, suiting to the zoo, and yeah, I hope you like it. I think that it will be a very nice thing for our staff to add to like add for them, so that they don't have to like move in, you know, large distance just to get the food for our animals. So yeah, I wanted to add this building also in here. I will also do a lot of work around this habitat off camera. I will add a lot of plants and so on, so you will be able to see it all in the cinematic shots in a second. Okay guys, this is all that I have for you today. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please consider to subscribe to my channel. It really would mean a lot to me. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. And comment down below if you enjoyed this video or if you have any recommendations on our future videos. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!